Welcome! In this segment, we'll be discussing something totally different and fun, library trivia and frequently asked questions. Let's get started with our library trivia. So, you might be wondering, what's the largest library in the world? Currently, the largest library in the world is the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C., and it has more than 151 million items on shelving that's over 800 miles long. What is the Library of Congress? The Library of Congress is the research arm of the United States Congress, and it's also the National Library of the United States. So the library's mission is to further the progress of our knowledge and creativity for the benefit of Americans. And this is a picture of one of the Library of Congress buildings. And if you'd like to go visit the Library of Congress online, it's very simple. It's just LOC, and a lot of the Library of Congress collections are now available online. So you can go into the loc.gov website and you can actually view many of their collections digitized. You can actually purchase copies of some of their items. So I would spend some time visiting the Library of Congress website. And you can also do a tour of the Library of Congress. They have really fabulous video tours. So spend some time visiting virtually the Library of Congress, the world's largest library. Let's talk a little bit about the number of libraries in the United States. Currently, there are over 122,000 libraries of all kinds in the United States today. So just to give you a breakdown, it's kind of small there, but for example, here at SUNY-ESF, we're an academic library. Did you know that in the United States there are close to 4,000 academic libraries? So again, all total, there's over 122,000 libraries in the United States. Did you know that the first public library was formed in 1731 by Ben Franklin, and the library is still open today? The largest public library is currently the Boston Public Library, which has over 23 million items. And they have many libraries in their system. This is just a postcard of their original library from the early 1900s. Let's talk about the largest academic library. The largest academic library right now is Harvard University, and they have more than 70 libraries. Back in 1638, they had a bequest of 400 books from John Harvard, and that collection has grown to over 17 million volumes today. What call number system do academic libraries use? Many times when you're in a library, you might be wondering, well, how do they choose how to organize these books? And how come some libraries have letters in the beginning of call numbers and others have numbers in the beginning of their call numbers? We're going to take a minute to talk about what call number system academic libraries use. Right now, academic libraries use the Library of Congress classification system, which was done by the Library of Congress Library in Washington, D.C. So for every letter in the alphabet, it corresponds to a different subject. So for example, the A's are general works like dictionaries and encyclopedias. And it goes all through the alphabet. Moving on to the next page, you'll see that, again, for every letter, there's a corresponding subject. So for example, if I was in a law library, most of their collection would probably be in the K's, because K stands for law. Here at SUNY-ESF, a lot of people are interested in the N's because under fine arts, an A stands for architecture. So a lot of times when you're in your academic library, you get familiar with a certain letter and you always go into your library and know that's the letter I need to go for. So if you're in an academic library and you're into architecture, any academic library you go to, you could go to the NAs and that'll always be architecture. All the Q's stand for the sciences. So again, here at SUNY-ESF, you're going to be mainly in the Q's. And here's some more of the call numbers for the Library of Congress, R's and S's. Again, S's are big at SUNY-ESF, and that's the last of the Library of Congress call numbers here. Again, every letter stands for a subject. So whenever you use an academic library, your call number can be used in all the other academic libraries you use because they all use the same system. What about public libraries? It's completely different when you go to a public library. The public libraries use the Dewey Decimal System. Who created the Dewey Decimal System? Melville Dewey, who worked in a library as a student assistant when he was 21, created the Dewey Decimal System. This is an overview of the Dewey Decimal System. So, like the Library of Congress, it has corresponding subjects, but this time they're using numbers instead of letters. So again, when you go to a public library, you'll get familiar with that number. So if I'm interested in the arts, I'm always going to go to the 700s in whatever public library I'm using. Now we're going to talk about some interesting trivia about libraries and reference questions. Did you know that reference librarians in the nation's public and academic libraries answer over 5 million questions every week? Standing in a single line, the line of people asking questions would go from Long Island, New York, all the way to Alaska. Academic librarians answer over 56 million reference questions every year, reaching almost 10 million more than attend college football games. And Americans go to school, public, and academic librarians nearly 3 times more often than they go to movies. We've talked about some fun, quick trivia items today, things that maybe you've come across and you've always wondered, you know, what's the largest library? What was the first library? Why do we use these particular call numbers? So take some time and visit your library, whether it be your public library or your academic library. Here at SUNY-ESF, our main library is Moon Library, and you can visit us anytime in person or online at www.esf/moonlib. That's all for now, and thanks for joining me to talk about library trivia. See you next time.